Hey guys, welcome to a new video tutorial. In this one I'm going to be doing the tutorial for my speed code I did the other day, which was how to create a website. And I'm going to be showing you the basics of how to create that website, the exact same one, and the steps that I took to do it. Now we're going to be using software called Dreamweaver, which you can get a free trial of in the link below. And we're also going to be learning a bit about how the file managers, all the file management we should do, things like the rules of files and things like that, no spaces, etc. all in this video. And you can also use this video to create your own web page for your garage mod loading URL, which you can, that was last week's video. So we're just going to get started. So the software itself is called Adobe Dreamweaver CS6. It's the latest one, and I've got the full version because I'm a student, so I get it for free. So this is what it looks like when you open it up, and it might seem confusing. But all we're going to be doing is working with some basic HTML, basic CSS and basic file management. So before we do any of Dreamweaver stuff, you want to be able to go and download it. So if you just go to your Google or whatever, and we're going to do a Google search for, just put in Adobe Dreamweaver, and you can buy it or you can download the trial. So yeah, I'm not sure how this website works anymore, but you'll be able to find this trial somewhere. I'll put a link in the description for it. Okay, so once you've got Dreamweaver, we can just open it up, install it, and we'll just leave that to the side for now. But all I'm going to do is create a new folder, and I'm just going to call this website. And I've already have that, so we'll call it tutorial. This will be the website. And inside here we're going to make two new folders, and one's going to be called CSS, so CSS, and the other one's going to be called images. Now what I like to do is keep it no capital letters and no spaces in them, so you can see that I've got just lowercase I, lowercase CSS. To keep everything lowercase is the best way to do things. It makes it a lot more easier for the all the website linking to work better. Okay, so we're going to go back to Dreamweaver, and I use the template because I tend to use like a centered one centered column. I always tend to use it, and instead of just writing out all the CSS for it, I just use the template. So you're just going to press create on that, and I'll show you one more time because I went a bit fast there. So file, new, blank page, HTML template, one column fixed, comma, centered, and just create that. Okay, so then I do some tidying up because I don't like having the CSS in the actual website, so I tend to put that in a file called style.css. So what you're going to do is go back to your files here, go into the CSS folder, right click and press new and text document, and just call this CSS and get rid of the .txt and put we'll call it style.css like that. And if you can't see this .css bit, you need to go to organize, folder and search options, press view, and then where it says hide extensions for known file types, that will be ticked for you. You want to uncheck that, press apply, and you'll be able to see the extensions there. So that is a cascading style sheet document. Okay, so then I'm just going to open that up in Notepad or Notepad++, which is probably better. And I'm going to shove all the CSS for this particular design inside here. So where this on line 77, if you're following the same tutorial as me, well you will be obviously, if you're following the same template as me, you want to go to line 77 and copy all the way up to line 12, and you're just going to cut that out and paste it into there. So now what I do is just tidy it up a bit more by removing these comments. So all the text that's green in this, I'm just going to remove it. These are comments, and these won't show on the website, however they're just little comments you can make in your code that the programmer or the person who is designing your website can see. So I'm going to remove all this because this comes in the template, and obviously you don't really want it in there. So we'll remove all that, and we'll have a look through the CSS and we'll see what's going on inside. So just there we go. So I've removed all the CSS. Okay, so in CSS we have all our opening tags here, so body, and then we add attributes to the body. So the body is the body of the website, which is just, if I go to this, you see this is all the body of the website. This is what everything looks like. And in the CSS itself, you've got to see that the color is going to be black. I think that's black, or it might be white. Yeah, that's black. 3 zeros is black, so we use hex codes for that. We've got padding and we've got margins. We've got background color and we've got fonts. And then the container and the content is where we put all our text. That is the center column of the website. So we're going to go back to Dreamweaver here, and we're just going to do some more tidying up. So what we'll do now is get rid of all from style. You want to delete all the way up to there, and then delete that bit, and we're going to put the head under there like that, and delete that, and we'll keep that, and we'll delete these bits and just put HTML at the top like that. So now your code should start with HTML, then head, then meta HTTP equivalent, and then we've got our title of our website here, and then end head tags. Okay, so now you can see that our website doesn't look very good, and that's because we've taken out our style sheet here. So we're going to save our style sheet like so, and we're going to go back to the code, and in the head just press enter, and we're going to do link rel equals, and then we're going to call this style sheet. So this is setting up a style sheet that all our website pages will use. Text /CSS. href is going to be our location of it, so our location is our website folder. So for mine it's called tutorial, and then in CSS and then in style.css, and press OK. And you don't want to do it like that, you want to do it like that, so it's CSS /style.css. So now if we go back to this, if I just make sure it's all updated. Okay, so we've got our style sheet in now, we just need to end that tag like that, and our style is now back on our actual web page once we save it anyway. So we're going to go file, save as, and press yes to that. Go to the folder we call so tutorial, and in here I'm just going to call it index, and you want to make sure it is a HTML document, and press save. So in here now we have an index.html folder file, and we also have our template back. So it will look weird in Dreamweaver. I don't know why Dreamweaver makes it look weird, but you want to make your website look good on web browsers, not on Dreamweaver. So if I just preview this in Firefox, you can see this is what our website actually looks like. If I could just drag this tab across, there we go. So this is what our website actually looks like. So you can see this is our container here, this white box is our container. All the body attributes are here, so this is supposed to be black. Oh no, it's not, sorry, because the body attribute for this is this hex code here. So the font text is black, as you can see there. Okay, so we're going to go about designing this website now. So we're going to go back to the source code here, and I always tend to put a title on my website. So I'm just going to call this tutorial like that, and then you can go ahead, and once you've got your title here, I'm just going to do dash home like this, so it neatens things up. So there we go. So you can see that my title is now tutorial-home. Okay, so go back to Dreamweaver, and the first thing we're going to do is decide how many pages we want. So I'm going to have a contact page and an about page. So I'm just going to copy this page twice like this, and I'm going to call it contact.htm and about.htm. And then I'm going to open these up in Dreamweaver as well. So we'll open that up, and we'll open that up. Okay, so we've got our index file, our index. The index, oh by the way, I forgot to mention this, that index, when you have a home page you call it index, because whenever you go to a website, like say we'll go to my website for example, this home page here is called index, and that means that it's the home page. If your page was called /home, it'd take you to a directory, which will then let you select the home page. But index automatically makes it the home page, and it'll always look for the index page first. So whenever we make a home page, it's going to be called index. That's just an important note you should make note of. So then I'm going to change the titles of my pages. So this one is the contact page. You can see that I switched tabs up at the top, so that is going to be tutorial-contact, and then this one here is going to be tutorial-about. So we can save that, and we'll save that. Okay, so that's all saved. Now what I'm going to do is put in my navigation bar, but first I'm going to just make a space for, this is where my banner's going to go, so I'm just going to put banner in there, and I'm going to delete all this filler text from here, and this is what you will hopefully be left with. So you'll be left with banner just in there like that, and then you've got the to ending, because wherever there's a div opener, so you can see that opens a div, that closes it, and then that opens a div and that closes it. And I'm not going too much in depth because obviously I can't teach you how to teach you HTML all in one lesson. We're already at 10 minutes. But we're going to put in a navigation bar. My navigation bars always just consist of text that is hyperlinked, and I'm sure most of you all know what a hyperlink is. It's basically text that is clickable, and when you click it, it takes it to wherever link is linked to that text. So what I'm going to do is do a horizontal line like this. So the code for a horizontal line is that, and I'm going to do another one like this, and in between the horizontal lines is where my navigation bar is going to go. So I'm just going to set the font size to be 5, and then I'm just going to end that like that, and I'm going to do home, about, contact, which are the names of my pages, and then I'm going to end that font. So whenever you open a font tag or anything like that, whenever you open a tag, it must end somewhere. So if you go to the design here, you can see this is what I've currently got so far. So I've got home, about, and contact, and my horizontal lines here. So then I'm just going to put it in the center, very simple, by just typing center like this, and that'll put it dead center in the page. So now if I show you what this page looks like, it looks like this. This is my website so far. So we're going to put some links onto our navigation bar here, so we can navigate between pages. So to do it, we add an attribute to our text. So we do opening tag href equals, and then we browse to our pages. So I know that my page is called index.html like that. We end the speech marks and then end the tag, and then we go next to the text here, so you've got home, and then we end that tag again. And then you do the same again, so href equals, and then about.html, close the tag, and then close it again, close the attribute tag, and then open an attribute tag, set the h reference to be contact.html, close that tag, and then close the tag again. So if I save that, we now have links on our pages, so you can see home and about, contact. So now we've got our navigation bar. Okay, so the thing that I always do now is add some CSS to this navigation bar, and CSS is cascading style sheets, and it's what adds all the rounded corners and opacity and fancy borders and fancy links and things. So all I'm going to do, because this is really simple, is right click, go to page properties, go to links, and in brackets it says CSS, and you can change all the attributes here for that. So the link color for me is going to be black, visited links also black, and when you roll over it, it's going to go red, and the active links are also going to be black. And also when you roll over it, it's going to show underline, and then I'm just going to press apply. Then you're going to go to your code again. You can see that it's put some horrible CSS into our website, so I'm going to cut that out, get rid of the style tags, go to my CSS style.css file, and where it says all these A links, anything that says A, just paste that in, save it, and we now have some nice links. So when you roll over it, it's red and it has an underline. So if that went too bit fast there, I'm sorry. But basically, whenever you make CSS changes, you want to keep it all in the CSS file, which is what I've done. Okay, so now we're going to add a background to our website. So I'm just going to search for a website background real quick. So just go to Google, type in a website background, for example, and you can grab any background you want. So I'm just going to choose this one here. This looks ugly, so we'll get this, and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to save it in my images folder, and I'm going to call it BG, just BG, no capital letters or anything, and put it in my images file. Okay, so if you go to your CSS style.css folder, and you see it says background-color, you can now change this to background-image, and then open colon, and you say where that file is. So for me, that's in images /bg.jpg, and as far as I know, that should work. Let's have a look. Yeah, we need to preview it in Firefox. Yes. Oh, you can't find the background, so let's just put that there like that, and change that. See what that does. Okay, I need to research that. Okay, sorry about that. I missed out a very important URL, and then we have our brackets around like this, so this should work. Oh. Okay, got that in the end. Apparently can't have image on this, it has to actually be spelled image, whatever. So we'll have my background on there, so there we go. Yes, yes, so that updates, and then we can view this in there. Right, I figured out why that wasn't working. It's because I've got my files managers wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my CSS and I'm going to put that back into the root of the drive, and I'm going to just press yes to that, and I'm going to save it. So yeah, this is why it's very important to get your file managing right. So I'm going to save that, and that'll overwrite. And then I also need to update the location of this to just so it's like that. And that means that I will then have my... There we go, so I've got my background now. And also these need to be updated, so my other 2 pages will also need to be updated. So we'll change this back to CSS style and get rid of that. Okay. Yep. And yep. Okay, so now you can see, sorry about that my links are all still updated, and because we edited the background of our CSS, all the pages keep that same background because it's in the CSS, and each page is reading that CSS document so it knows what it's going to look like. Okay, so I'm going to make a very quick banner in Photoshop just for my website to go on. So the banner dimension I'm going to use is going to be 800 by 200, and I will pause the video while I make this banner because you don't really need to see how to make a banner. You just need to make it 800 by 200 is a very good size. I'll show you what that looks like. So 800 by 200, that's the size of the banner. So I'll just make a banner real quick. Okay, so I've got my banner. It looks really good. And I'm going to save this in my images folder as a PNG, and I'm going to call this banner. Before I do that though, I'm going to delete this layer here like that. So now I've got a transparent background, and I'm going to save that in my images folder as a PNG, so banner.png, and press OK. So now we can put this banner in replace of where our banner thing is here. So the code for this is image source equals browse, and then we select our banner, and then we just close it like that. So now we've got our banner in, and I'm also just going to align it in the center because everything looks good when it's aligned. Okay, so that's what this looks like now. So if we refresh this, we now have a banner, so and it says tutorial website, and for some reason it hasn't saved properly because I accidentally switched on to grayscale, but oh well. So this is now what my website looks like, and we can add some more CSS to this. So we can add things like borders, and we can add things like widths and colors and things. So I'm just going to change the border of my CSS of this container to be like a dashed line. So we're going to go to our style.css sheet, we're going to go to our container, and we're going to just set the the border, the border of the border style of our container to border-style, and then we can say what we want it to be. So I want mine to be dotted, and then we can say what the border width is going to be. So my border, oh yeah, don't forget you need to add a line terminator to the end. So border dash width, and we'll say it's going to be thick like that. So we'll see what that looks like. There we go. So that's now what my border width looks like. It looks really ugly. And we can also add some opacity to this by just doing opacity. Opacity is going to be 10. Oh no, I mean not 0.9, not 0.9. My terminators. And opacity only tends to work in Firefox and Chrome. Internet Explorer just doesn't support it for some reason. But yeah, we've got some opacity there now. So now we've got a website that has links on it that take us to different parts of our website. And now we can update the rest of our website with this code. So sorry about that. I'm going to copy this whole section here like this, and I'm going to replace it on each of my pages. So paste it there, and get rid of that, and get rid of that, and I'm going to do the same for this page here. Paste it there, and get rid of it. So now when we update this, our page has got rid of all this, and all our links are still working. You can see the titles are switching up at the top. So now we could add some content to our website if we wanted to. You could just do that on this page here. Add your content here. So hello, we'll put here, for example, on this home page here. So hello, my name is Jack, and this is my website. I don't know why that's there. This is my home page. And on the contact page, for example, I could have this is my contact page. And on my about page I could just have this is my about page. Okay, so now we've got a fully looking, it looks decent. Got a website here, it's got some CSS on it, it's got some backgrounds on it, it's got a banner on it, and we've got some content on it, and our links are all working. So that is the end of this video tutorial. Hopefully you can use something from this tutorial to create your own website. Feel free to go to something like wfreeschools.com where they can teach you how to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all that kind of lot, and they can teach you a lot better than I can in 20 minutes. So thank you for watching, please like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you again in the next video.
You run so far, left behind the stones that